Hey folks, welcome back to Downstairs Den&D, where we play D&D in the den downstairs. It's not a basement. We are rejoining our group as they continue to explore their new home and neighborhood. They have fully explored their new home, Trollskull Manor, and are now working on figuring out what they can do to possibly reduce the costs or just running some personal errands around the city. We join our group as they are departing and separating. They're going their separate ways after visiting the local magistrate to assign yet another new deed for the property that also includes Ciendithis. So we were picking up right outside of the magistrates. You were all standing out on the cold, windy street.
Right. So I'm just planning on going to the embassies outside the castle ward real quick. If anyone has any business over there, I'm happy to walk with you, but...
I think I'm going to go and check out the shops.
Same. Or do you think it'll be terribly long, or should we just expect to see you tomorrow?
I have no clue.
Okay. Well, if we don't see you, we will see you tomorrow for a meeting with Rainier.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. Citizen
walk.
heads off toward the... What? I'm sorry, what?
I said walk, walk, walk.
Okay. Citizen heads off toward the castle ward as the rest of the crew head off toward Trollskull Alley. Demea mentions that it's getting later in the day. It's probably about 5 o'clock at this point. She says if we're going to split up, she's going to go ahead. She has some work that she needs to do down in the dock ward for her ship captain. So she says, unless anyone has a problem, she's going to head off for the day. So,
Bye, Demea.
let us resolve. Citizen.
Yes, sir.
We are moving from, first off, let's do this. We haven't done this yet. Big bloop. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, I said the guard post was like, what, down here somewhere? Yeah, let's do that. And Ciendithis was kind of taking the lead, saying, hey, I know other guild members. I'm gonna take the lead on meeting people. All right, so y'all are chilling here and going off your separate ways. Demea goes off her way. Tennyson, you are heading for what was described to you again, saying that the embassies were likely outside of the palace in the castle ward. Which, if I'm not mistaken, the palace is at the southern end of the castle ward. Not the palace, I apologize. They're going to be near Castle Waterdeep in the castle ward, which you know is down toward the southern end of the castle ward. You know this because it's not too far from the Yawning Portal.
Yeah, and I just kind of, I'm still trying to learn the city, so just kind of trying to get there quickly, but also kind of get a bearing on everything around me.
So, as you're moving along, shortly after you enter the castle ward, you are walking down. Actually, it's as you're walking across Waterdeep Way, after you've turned off the high road. So not long after you've been on this main thoroughfare, you see that a wagon has thrown a wheel and upturned in the middle of the street. causing a long tailback of traffic. You being on foot are able to bypass it. Yeah.
Anyone
You
appear to
can-
be hurt or anything?
Taking a look, it doesn't appear anybody is hurt. The streets are definitely crowding up behind it. Taking a look, you think it could be fixed, but no one appears to be injured. Do you investigate or you keep moving?
I mean, I guess I'll gawk for a second here.
Gawk
you
for a second.
Kind of figure out
Okay.
what happened, yeah.
Taking a look, the driver is down on the side attempting to repair a wheel.
Is anyone, like, helping him? I guess I could, like, go over and be like, hey, I'll help you, like, hold tools. I'm not exactly
Okay. Yeah, if you want to help, give me a wisdom land vehicle check.
Okay.
So specific.
Nine.
That is a 9. Go ahead and roll with advantage, since he's there helping you.
Oh, shoot. 22.
22. Okay. It takes you a few moments, but you are able to help him replace the wheel and get him going. It just so happens that in thanks, he offers you some of the cargo from the back of his wagon, which just so happens to be some furniture. It turns out that you just helped a furniture craftsman who offers to deliver something to your estate if you would like. You look like you probably own property here. You're kind of fairly well dressed.
Yeah, definitely. I give him the directions to Trollskull.
Okay, yeah, he says he'll drop something off for you.
I thought he was going to be like, thank you so much, here's a chair. A bed, here.
I just love how confused everyone else is going to be when a furniture delivery cart shows up. And they're like, this is for Mr. Ward.
Yeah, I would say Meech. It may strike Tennyson, it may not. To offer rather than, a chair, maybe it might be worth trying to get a contract out of this guy. Maybe a % off all of the furniture you need is better than a free piece of furniture.
I mean, yeah, I am not
whether that would occur to Tennyson is up to you.
No. I would just be like, ooh, free furniture. Neat. Like, I'm smart, but I would not have the social wherewithal to pull that one off.
You helped him change a tire. He's probably not going to refurnish the place for free. He's probably just going to, give you a nice chair.
I'm excited for my nice chair.
But yeah, so you continue making your way toward the castle area. And let's see. This region of the city, again, the castle ward lies in the heart of Waterdeep, wrapping around the eastern slopes of Mount Waterdeep. This ward is home to Castle Waterdeep, Pir Gyron's Palace, I'm probably not saying that right, and many cities' administrative buildings. Ward of wealthy or influential people who can't count themselves among the nobility. But out in kind of surrounding, again, out here in front, hold on, I'm clicking on the wrong map, I apologize. Out in this area are a collection of guild halls and embassies. And after a few minutes, you do discover, by the recognizable attire of the Purple Dragon guards out front, the Cormyrian Embassy. The rest of you make your way back to... Hold on, I'm going to put... You're hanging out down here, Tennyson. And everyone else is heading back up to Trollskull Alley. As you all make your way back into the alleyway, Shane, are you still with us verbally?
Sure am.
Dope. You approach from the south entrance, coming up into kind of the center courtyard here of the alleyway. Taking a look around, you see several things. Again, as we've discussed before, it is winter. Not everywhere appears to be open. Most of the buildings appear to be inhabited. A lot of the lower floors do appear to be shop fronts of some kind. Most appear to be shuttered for the winter. Okay, but you do see a few that are open. Okay, of course, along the northern entrance, you have your property, Trollskull Manor. At the far end, let's see. So I'm just kind of going to go around here and tell you guys what you see. So you see Trollskull Manor. The property adjacent on the alley side appears to be vacant. On the the front side of that building appears to just be a residence.
Are you pinging when you're saying this?
Hold on. I am. Can you guys not see my pings?
No, I think
Negative.
it's all just pings.
Can you see that ping?
Nope.
What is happening? What map do you guys see?
What
Troll
layer are you
Skull
on? Yeah.
Valley.
Oh, I bet I'm on the GM layer. Yep. How about now?
Yep.
Cool.
There it is.
You see that this is Trollskull Manor. The back part of this property appears vacant. The front of this, you've walked by it a few times now, appears to just be a residence.
Are there gaps in between each property? It's just
A couple feet.
Okay.
This is kind of the roof structure, so they all kind of have overhanging roofs, so there's probably a few feet walking space in between. Some of the buildings are probably connected, some aren't. Let's see. This property appears to be a closed shop front. Here, let me just tell you what appears to be open right now. Again, several vacant properties, but looking around, you see, where the hell? Let's see, E7. This property here has a sign out front, very intricately carved, that says "The Bent Nail," that has a large iron spike coming out of it with a bend in it. It appears to be a carpenter of some kind, based on what you can see through the front windows. The next one looking around you can see would be these structures over here appear to be Can you guys see my pings?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. These appear to be operational. One appears to be a school with an adjacent second building that appears to be a part of that same complex. Unsure what it's used for. Then you have a building over here, kind of on the outskirts of Trollskull Alley, which does appear to be the sign over the door reads Froon's Brews. Very heavy curtains hanging in the windows. You can't quite see inside. You then see a bank well, it's not facing the alleyway, but walking through the neighborhood, this building here, that is kind of alley adjacent, is an open bank. Let's see. There's some more residences. You then eye the blacksmith, which is in this building, with a door open up to the street out front as well as the alley. It appears to have a door hanging above a sign hanging above the door that says "Steam and Steel." Moving around, you also see a couple more residences, a couple more shuttered places, and then you see the greenhouse, which is this building directly across from the manor. It appears to be a couple-story building, the top story of which is a large glass greenhouse. The sign on the door reads Corallin's Crown. You see a sign that says, that's what you see there. Moving over to the western part of the alley, you see, again, several residences. This building back here is rather strange looking. All of the windows appear to be blacked out. There is an open sign, and interestingly enough, all of the open and closed signs in the entire alley look the exact same, as if they were, they're all very intricately carved wooden signs that all match, as if they were carved by the same person for the neighborhood. They have a sign. It doesn't look open, but their sign reads open. And they're in one window, and above the door there is not any words. There is a logo. It's just a eye with a like a cat's iris. It's like a cat's eye carved into a sign above that door over here in the northwestern corner of the alley. Several more residences, and then getting a bit closer to you guys, you do see the bookstore Ink Fingers mentioned, and that is the back half of this building here. Hold on, I have those backwards. This is the cat eye building. This is the bookstore. Back here. Which appears to be named Bookworm's Treasure. And worm is spelled W-Y-R-M. And then the last building that appears to not just be a residence or a closed shop is going to be this building here. Appears to be the neighborhood city watch post. Anything else looks like either just a residence or a closed shop.
Lots of stuff in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Shane, how's the reboot coming?
90%.
Is it having to install something?
What is your
Yeah,
computer?
apparently it needed an update.
Oh, gotcha.
Killed by Windows Update.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I want to go to the carpenter. Is that what we're doing right now? We're just kind of... Right. I was making sure that you were waiting for us to say something, right?
Yep. What are we doing? Where are you going?
All right, I want to go talk to the carpenter.
I think I might go check out that bookstore.
I'm gonna go to Steam and Steel.
Okay. Splitting up. Fantastic for me.
Ha!
All right. Oh, one other thing you see. I forgot to mention. Despite the fact that it is winter, right? There is some hustle. This isn't. It's not a deserted alley. The locations that are open because they are able to do the business this time of year. So there are occasional people coming in and out of the alley, coming in and out of the open shops. Occasionally, you may see someone come in and out of one of the residences, but someone that you don't see move is a pair of fling. There's some street performers posted up. It's not a pair, I apologize. It is 4 halfling musicians and dancers that are set up in front of a closed salon. Actually, right across the street from the manor. They are set up on the southern end of this building here. Again, it is 4 kind of younger but not children halflings. They appear to be 2 brothers who are dancing. One of them has a hat that holds, and as he flourishes about, will hold it out to a passerby asking for a donation. And the sisters stand behind. One appears to be playing a flute, and one is playing a fiddle. They're actually quite good. Even though there aren't many people out because it's winter, pretty much everyone that walks by gives them a tip. I need all 4 of you to roll for initiative.
Mr. DM, can you roll for me, please?
Do you not have a die?
No.
Oh. Here, I'll do it in.
It's a +3.
I got you a 20.
Cool.
I don't know that you did that right, Billy. Did you? Because it doesn't look like a die roll. It looks like you just typed in 20.
Oh, how do I roll a d20?
/R roll 1d20.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I rolled a
he still
20.
got his 20.
I still rolled a 20. I just wanted to see what's your initiative modifier saying? +3?
+3, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to see in what order we were going to play these scenes out. Tennyson, did you give me an initiative check?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm on it.
Wow, you guys, jeez.
Shane, see into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You approach the blacksmith, steam and steel.
Is it Steam or Steen?
Steam, Steam.
Okay, I heard Steen first time.
Is that a word?
I thought maybe it was the last name.
Oh, fair enough.
This detached building's ground level is solid stone. Steam and smoke rise from a chimney and bellows forth from the windows. Walking in, you see a pair at blacksmith, a large forge in one corner, a few cabinets and armor. Not armor, just a few pieces, kind of some display shelves of materials that are done, but it appears more of a workshop than a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
They're more of tradesmen than merchants. They probably do a lot more residential work. Based on your knowledge of blacksmith, kind of the setup they see, they probably do more, again, residential and contract work than they do cranking out swords and armor to sell. There's probably not all. the City Garden Watch probably have contracts for that. They probably don't have one of them.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a profitable business in Waterdeep.
Mhm.
So they don't, like I said, don't seem terribly set up for a shop. But looking around, you do see two proprietors inside. Both of them are very reminiscent of one of your new companions. One of them is blue in skin tone, and has hair that is kind of shoulder length, cropped, tied back into a ponytail. But even though it is tied, it appears to be floating in the air as if it is, as if he was suspended underwater.
Hmm.
And then over by the forge, and this blue person is a average height, a little bit of a thinner frame. He greets you as you walk in. And then you see the second figure standing over by the forge, a larger figure who is actually has a burnt ember skin tone. It is a deeper red, but not a deeper red, it is a lighter red. Very different than Demea. Doesn't have horns, has a kind of a crop top haircut that appears, but his hair appears to be standing on end and waving as if his hair itself was made of fire.
Huh.
I would say you have probably at least heard of these guys, being the son of a blacksmith and in that guild. You have heard of a pair of Genasi partners that owned a blacksmith somewhere in the North Ward. This must be them. You've heard of the name of the place, Steam and Steel, and you have heard that it was run by a couple of Genasi, but it's not until you actually step inside and see them that the name makes sense to you. Now seeing them, they are undoubtedly a water and fire Genasi, respectively. But the water Genasi, over by a workbench, turns around as you enter and approaches you and greets you. Yes, hi, hello, how are you today? What can I do for you?
Hey, me and a couple of my companions just got a tavern down the street, and I just wanted to come by and introduce myself and see how everything was going.
Oh, a tavern? Do you all own Trollskull?
Yeah, it was given to us by a person we did a job for.
Oh, did you hear that? We're going to have a tavern. Are you guys reopening it?
We haven't decided yet. Is a tavern something you guys might need around here?
Oh, I would hope. I would love to have a local spot for us to be able to go. Do you hear that, Avi? They're going to open a tavern again. He calls out to the fire Genasi working over at the forge, who just kind of gives a grunt in response.
Yeah.
The water Genasi that you are speaking with introduces themselves to you as Avi, and tells you that his partner's name, the fire Genasi, is Embrick.
Avi and Embrick.
But he tells you they would love to have. He's been wanting a local spot. He's always wished someone would reopen it as a tavern. There's a place on the outskirts of the alley owned by a man named Froome, but he doesn't even know how it stays open.
Is it a tavern?
Yes.
Yeah, me and my
but it's
companions
not
were
really
actually...
in Trollskull Alley. It's kind of on the outskirts.
Yeah.
It's over here.
Okay.
So you are currently here.
Okay. Yeah, me and my companions were debating on what's turned into. It's already set up for a tavern, so it wouldn't be a bad idea if that's what everybody wanted around.
Well, I'm sure you would do excellent business if you were to reopen Trollskull as a tavern, and Well, I'm sure you would undoubtedly be needing some work. It appears to be in rather rough shape from the outside.
Yeah, it's kind of why I came by. I grew up in a blacksmith family, and I was wanting to know if I could, talk to you guys about maybe, trying to help us out. Obviously, we will pay for, stuff, but also, if there's anything I can do to, maybe see if you guys might want to chip in, maybe become an investor or
Well,
something
of
like that.
course, we would love to contribute to a tavern in the neighborhood, and you'll find as you all spend more time here that all of us here in Trollskull Alley are a pretty tight knit community, and we'd
Mhm.
love to help out. Now, there may just be one problem.
What's
Have
that?
you met Tally yet?
No, you guys were the first person I wanted to introduce myself to.
He's the owner of the Bit Nail. The Blue Skin Water Genasi states. Before you can answer, Embrick says something for the first time. He chimes up without turning away from the forge. My conscience is flame, why can't you just let it go? Avi shoots him a teasing glare toward his partner and says, don't flare up now, darling. He turns back to you. I was just wondering if you had met him yet, as he's the carpenter in the neighborhood, and if you were wanting to have local tradesmen help with the renovations, we would probably have to work side by side. And, well, we've been trying to get into business with him, but it seems at that point, Embrick stands up from the forge and slams down the hammer that he was working with, turns to you all and says, he doesn't like that we're together. Fine. We faced ignorance before. It's nothing new. I won't waste any more time speaking of it, and storms off upstairs.
Is he okay?
Oh, yes, he's fine. Like I said, we've been trying to get into business with Tally for a while now, and we had a few meetings, and it seemed to be going quite well. And, well, Embrick and I aren't big on PDA, just handhold here, shared kind word every now and then, but eventually, at a certain point, Tally just always seemed uncomfortable and grew more uncomfortable to the point he sent us a letter saying that he would not be able to go into business with us.
He
Now, I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding of some sort, and if you were by chance able to speak with him and sort out that misunderstanding, we just want to make sure that all parties would be comfortable working together if we were to go into business for the renovations.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that if I can help maybe you guys get into business together, then you guys would help pitch in on the tavern?
Oh, yeah, if everything ended up amicably, and we would stand to make a lot of money working together with Tally. I would be willing to give you 25% off of any of our services for the renovations if we were able to strike a deal.
Sounds good to me. And I reach out my hand for a handshake.
He reaches out and shakes your hand.
I tell him, appreciate everything you guys did, and I'll see what I can do.
All right. Who is next? That is Baracus. And you were heading toward
The Bent Nail.
the Bent Nail. Let me go back to...
Talk to the homophobe.
I have so many PDFs open. It's not... the Bent Nail. Where'd it go? Going in, again, a small wooden sign above this shop's main door states that it is the Bent Nail and has a large iron spike that has been bent at a 90-degree angle sticking out of it. Walking in, the front room contains displays of ornate wooden furniture, as well as a selection of bows and crossbows. The wall behind the counter is lined with rows of finely carved wooden canes, quarterstaffs, and shields. The person that you would assume to be the owner and chief artisan is a male half-elf by appearance, sitting at a workbench who turns as you enter. He sets down a tool he was working with, grabs a rag, wipes off his hands as he approaches you. Oh, yes, what can I do for you today?
Oh, hello. We just moved into the neighborhood, and I was going around and greeting people.
Oh, well, welcome to Trollskull. My name's Tally. Well, welcome to the Bit Nail. Where did you move in?
We actually, what's the word phrase? Got possession of Trollskull Manor.
When you say that, his eyes widen a little bit. You own Trollskull?
Yes, just recently.
Oh, well, that's amazing. What do you plan on doing with it?
We were thinking about opening it up as a tavern again, but we need help with renovations and whatnot.
Oh, well, of course. I would love to assist with that. I'm sure you all base it on what it looks like. I'll admit I may have taken a peek inside on my own before. It looks like you will need quite a bit of carpentry work. Probably replace most of the furniture around the place too. I'm sure we can work out some kind of deal.
Sounds good.
Get a tavern, a worthwhile tavern open again in the alley.
I was going to ask you about specifically the matching open signs all over. Is that like a regulation of the area?
Oh no, that's he gives us a slight chuckle and he almost stands up a little bit straighter and puffs out his chest. Oh yeah, that's something that I make and pass out to the neighbors as they open up. We like to keep just kind of a bit of a neighborhood association, you might say.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I wasn't sure. I wanted to make
sure once we get you guys up and going, I'll be giving you guys one as well.
Perfect. I'm not sure what else to say to him other than that. Ask him if it's okay if we open it that it's a game.
Say that again.
I'm just joking.
Okay, I didn't hear you. Yeah, he asks when you guys plan on getting started with the renovations, and if you've talked to any other guild members yet.
I think that's what we're all doing right now as we speak. We're splitting up and talking to the neighbors to see who wants to help out, and if a tavern is something that people in the area would actually patronize.
Oh, I can tell you that it's something that they would patronize. There's Fruins is open, but no one really likes going there.
Gotcha. Well, okay. Well, I appreciate it. I will get back to you when I think we're just getting a feel for the neighbors right now, but I will definitely let you know when we can start.
Well, of course, and make sure, we'll have to go through the proper channels. You'll have to speak with my guild master and let him know. We'll have to, negotiate our contract through them and whatnot. But once you all decide what you know what you're wanting done, come back and see me, and I can help you navigate that process.
Perfect. Do you know of any other artisans in the area that you would recommend?
Well, depending on what kind of work you're wanting to have done, I'm the only carpenter here. There's the pair down at the Bit Nail. It's a local blacksmith. He kind of points. You can see their storefront through one of his southern windows. He points down in that direction at them. And give me an insight check.
22.
He has an uncomfortable look on his face as he talks about them. But it's a look of sadness.
It's a love triangle. Should I pry?
They're the local blacksmiths. They're good at what they do. They do fine work. Most of the other shops, I'm trying to think. The tailor's closed for the winter when he reopens. If you wanted some new sheets or uniforms or curtains or anything like that, I'm sure he could help. Other than that, there is the winemaker at the far end of the alley. His storefront's closed for the winter, but he's probably got plenty of stuff distilling. He might be able to be a vendor for you if you wanted to sell something local.
I was curious about Billy, the area right. Hold on, I was gonna. The place right there. You said it was like brew something. I want to ask him what specifically is that shop.
Oh, Frones. He tells you that it is a tavern.
Oh, that's the tavern they're talking.
It is. No one likes going there. They don't consider it part of Trollskull Alley proper. He tells you that he actually has refused to give Emmett Froon, the owner, one of the Trollskull open-close signs.
Can I ask him specifically why? Like why no one likes it? Like why?
He tells you Froon makes his own beer, and if it's the kind of beer that you like, it's amazing. But very, very few people. It's a very niche place. That's probably how he stays open, and it's niche enough that he doesn't have to put forth much effort with the facade, with the interior.
Does he think that this person would be upset if we opened a tavern a block away?
He tells you undoubtedly. He tells you that Froon has been trying to buy Trollskull for years.
Oh. Okay. Well, I thank him for his information, and we'll be in contact soon.
Sounds good. All right. Next in the initiative then was Tennyson.
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. You continue moving forward.
What time of day is it?
It's after you guys meet the magistrate again. It's probably early evening. It's probably about 5 o'clock. It's probably about 6 o'clock.
Okay, fair enough.
Sun's probably starting to set. But you do approach, and there are two guards. The courtyard outside of the building does appear to be closed in, and they are standing out at a front gate. They hold a hand up to you as you approach.
Eventide gentlemen, just here to report to whatever diplomatic constable is in.
They kind of glance at each other and then give you an odd look. What business would you have? Do you have a Cormyrean accent?
Oh, me? Definitely.
Okay.
It's a little off. Like there's I'd be like a southern Cormyr, like.
Okay.
Yeah, but.
Gotcha. So they kind of give an odd look to each other, and ask you what needs you would have. What need do you have to report to someone here?
I'm just spending some time in the city. I'm currently furloughed with the dragons, and in case there's a recall. How old are these guys?
They appear to probably be in their 30s.
Basically, I'm looking to see if they're old enough to have been in the war like 7 years ago.
No. Okay. They're probably no, they're probably in their like mid-20s.
Okay.
You would imagine being a member of the Purple Dragons, regardless of how far removed you were from the central power structure, it would make sense that they didn't hire Waterdeepians to guard the Cormyrean embassy. So these are young guys, probably haven't been out of training that long. They don't have families, so they're willing to take the assignment halfway across the continent to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm furloughed from the dragons right now, but been doing a little bit of side work for the war wizards. Figured while I'm in town, you guys should know that I'm here.
Do you wear any visible Cormyrean or purple dragon insignia?
I'm not currently wearing insignia, but I definitely am very obviously in Cormyrean style dress. Probably a little out of date.
Okay. Yeah. So roll an insight check.
Bip, bip. Which one of my 5 windows? 22.
Okay. They are just puzzled by you. You approach you first off, they probably don't get approached very often. Probably get passed a lot more than approached. By people that, especially by people they don't recognize. Anyone that coming and going from the embassy is probably a regular, someone that works here. And not only are you coming up, oh hey, by the way, I'm part of the Purple Dragons, and you talk to somebody. You're doing so. They probably felt, seeing your dress and your accent, they probably thought you were a lost citizen trying to seek aid or help, so they were willing to help you. But claiming to be a purple dragon is just blowing their mind, given that they have never seen a member of the Purple Dragons not be a human before. So you definitely get the impression that they believe you're from Cormyr. They don't believe everything you're saying. They're going to need some proof of what you're saying.
They lower rank. They officers. What are they?
They are. Bloop, 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 bloop. One is a blade, one is a tail sword.
I just look at it and go, I get it. Do you have a sword captain I can talk to? Who?
Your rank is the equivalent of what again?
It's the equivalent of a sword captain, but
Okay.
so it's a lieutenant, but I don't have like a command structure.
Got it. They turn and kind of whisper to each other, and the tell sword stays, and the blade enters through the gate and goes inside. After a few moments, a first sword comes out and says, "Well, these men tell me that you're a member of the Knights and have a report to give."
Furloughed, not currently under orders, but yes, looking to meet with whoever the diplomatic constable of the embassy is.
He asks if you have any. Do you have any like writs or insignia or what identifies a purple dragon?
Honestly, they'd have to contact the Suzail because it's all just an intricate set of orders and commands. So all that they'd be able to do is contact Suzail.
Let me rephrase.
Mm-hmm.
Would it stand or make sense that you would have some sort of writ that you carried with you for just such an occasion?
I mean, it wouldn't be outside. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I'd probably have
you produce that.
just simple.
hand it
Yeah.
over. It might even be the letter that you received saying that you were furloughed.
Yeah.
Even if it's not an official "I'm a member" card. So you have something to produce. And at this point, after reading the document, the first sword kind of stands up a little bit straighter, and gives your nod. Well, yes, sir. I can take you to the sword captain right away.
Just nod in his direction.
and he escorts you inside. He leads you through a series of hallways, offices, storerooms, meeting rooms. Goes, knocks on a door, beckon to enter. And you are in a very utilitarian, decorated office. Filing cabinets, medieval equivalent of filing cabinets, papers, a large table in the corner with maps. Clearly the ranking military person in charge of this post. He turns to Griot. What can I do for you? He's looking at the first sword that escorted you in, who explains to him the situation. He asks what you have to report.
Yeah, I introduced myself. Just if I'm going to be spending any extended time in the city, figured I'd let you guys know I'm here. See if there's anything that is of interest to Comir that I should be paying attention to. Any toes that shouldn't be stepped on.
And then he asked how long you've been in the city and what you've been doing since you've been here.
Only about 2 weeks. I really wasn't sure if I was intending on staying. I'm just kind of on a bit of a sabbatical for some work that I was doing. Yeah, I kind of like give him a look. You said he was the ranking officer here, right? Yeah. Like I could tell that. I was
not the ambassador. He would be the ranking military person.
Right. Yeah, and so I would be more than, while I wouldn't be super comfortable talking about it, I tell him that I was doing some work for Nalafun in the War Wizards while I was on my furlough, and I was just on leave from that work.
Well,
but
if
I'm
from a defensive perspective, we don't have. Waterdeep tends to be a pretty peaceful city. We have good relations with Mass Council. What is it that you are currently doing in the city?
At the moment, and at this point, yeah, I would basically just give him a debrief of everything I've been doing for about the past year and a half since I left.
Okay. Cormier.
Give me a sec. I apologize about that. Yeah, ever since I left Cormier.
Okay. Have you told him what's happened the past few days?
Oh yeah, just
okay. When you mentioned Renair Neverember, and some of the other faces in your tale, he mentions to you that they've actually been working on trying to better ingratiate themselves with the local the local regional powers. All of you would know Waterdeep is not part of a kingdom. It is a free city of the northern region of this continent. It is the western heartlands and the northern wastes are some of the few people or few regions that are not associated with a kingdom or some sort of political power. They tend to be kind of more classic medieval serfdoms, nobles, whatnot, propagated around Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, and Neverwinter. But he tells you that there is a growing power in the region that is unifying some of the larger regional settlements, known as the Lord's Alliance. That is probably the closest thing to a regional political structure in this part of the world.
Okay.
And he says if you could possibly leverage, if you wanted to come off a furlough, you could leverage some of these potential new contacts to try to ingratiate the Lord's Alliance to the Purple Knights and therefore Boromir.
Openly, or are we trying to?
Openly, we have an established embassy here in Waterdeep. The
Okay.
Waterdeep is a member of the Lord's Alliance, and even if we, you know, as Coromir would never need to join the Lord's Alliance, having allies is never a bad thing.
I've worked in building those kind of relationships. Yeah, I'd be willing to do that.
Perfect. He tells you he would be able to give you some stipend, reinstate military pay to do so.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely willing to do that.
Okay. So you guys take the time to hash out those details. And we come to Elisar, who is approaching the bookstore.
Yes.
You see quite the odd scene as you approach. Yes. As you approach, it's from the outside. It's a very nice looking place. Where is it? I apologize. Here we go. The front of this bookstore is adorned with a charming sign of a gold dragon curled around a treasure hoard of books and scrolls. Inside, the shop is decorated with, you can see inside the front windows. You can tell that it's decorated with beautiful hardwood, with just full of shelves of books. Out front is a very odd scene, however. You see what is clearly to you a wood elf pacing back and forth across the front of the bookstore, holding up a sign that says Duskwood paper equals murder. What do you do?
He's writing all of this down.
Yeah, sorry. So I guess is there a back entrance to the bookstore?
Let's see. No.
Okay.
The back half of that building is a different business facing Seardoon Street.
That's okay then. Check something. It's like maybe I could just wild shape past him. I just kind of like ignore him and walk into the bookstore.
Taking a look at this elf, they are very sexually ambiguous. You want to call them a him or her?
Androgynous is the word you're looking for.
Androgynous. Thank you. I could not think of that word. Androgynous, very androgynous features, which leads you to believe that this is likely a follower of Corlon, and is probably an agendered elf.
A follower of who?
Corlon, who is an elven god, who is one of the elven gods that established Evermeet.
Oh yeah, then I definitely try to ignore them as I walk in.
You move past. As you do, they do try to approach you and start rambling about Did you know that they use duskwood paper to make their scrolls here? I'm assuming you continue pushing past and just run inside.
Yeah.
Okay. You do so. As you enter, inside, the shop is decorated with beautiful hardwood, and the earthy scent of old books permeates the air. The library fills 2 floors of this 3-story building, from what you can tell, and it somehow seems to contain more shelves than the building should be able to hold. Behind a short table with a small pair of reading glasses at the tip of his nose sits a seemingly bit older gold dragonborn reading a book.
Okay.
Appears to be dressed in robes.
Do they react to all as I walk in, or?
They do not. As you walk in, there is a slight bell that rings. They do look up and kind of acknowledge your presence, but unless you directly approach them or signal to them, they go back to their book and seem more than happy to let you peruse.
So I probably look around for a little bit, like at all the books that are in here. Is there anything like catches my eye, or I'm just looking for like anything that might help me research wise or might be otherwise super interesting to me. Like if it's
taking a look around, he has fiction, nonfiction. You think that if you needed to find a book on any particular topic, you would at least probably be able to find a book on that topic here, even if it wasn't necessarily like up to date or not terribly too obscure. Like you could find plenty of books on metalworking, but you may not be able to find a book on like a specific type of metalworking from Symbia or something, like, if that makes sense.
Sure.
As well as a lot of popular fiction and whatnot. And then in one shelf, you actually see a display of spell scrolls. It looks like he has just a ton.
Wow.
If you want me to, I can tell you what all he has.
Oh no, I'm good for now. Sure, I can't afford both of them.
Okay.
I guess I go up to the guy and I introduce myself and say I'm sorry to disturb you. Just wanted to let you know my compatriots and I just acquired Trollskull Manor, and we were kind of introducing ourselves to some of the local businesses.
Oh, well, welcome to the neighborhood. My name's Rashal. Welcome to the Bookworm's Treasure and the Alley.
Thank you. One of our business contacts actually spoke very highly of this bookstore, so thought I'd come in and see it
Who
myself.
might that be?
I don't know if I caught her first name, but her last name was Ink Fingers.
Big glasses, short.
Yes, that's her.
Cordonia. Yeah, she's in here a couple times a week. Sweet girl, sweet girl. Hopefully Fallout Front didn't bother you too much on your way in.
No, I'm good at just being kind of a little quiet, bookish type, that kind of thing. Is he out there often?
They're out there every other day now, sometimes a couple times a day. Thankfully, it's been less in the winter, but yeah, she's not happy. They're not happy that I use duskwood paper, but I understand the concerns about duskwood. But I don't have other options. It's the only paper I can get that is high enough quality. I mean, spell scrolls can't just be put on any old parchment. My customers expect no less from me. Meanwhile, Fala's out there ruining my business. He lets out a deep, growly sigh.
I see. Has it always been this way? Like, was this how long have they been protesting? Is there like a change that did this, or what happened?
They go back and forth. Sometimes they'll get on a kick about Duskwood paper. Sometimes they'll get on a kick about something else. If you ask me, Fowler's an activist just for the attention. But, well, you all say you're new to the neighborhood, right? You said you own... Wait, did you say you own Trollskull Manor?
We do, actually. We just came into possession of it today.
Well, it's about time somebody fixed that place up. He kind of looks you over. Are you kitted out?
Am I? I probably brought my scythe with me. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so you'd be carrying something. Okay.
Right.
Well, hey, if you're going around and introducing yourself to everybody, how about this? If you can somehow get her out from in front of my store, I'm more than happy to give you and whoever it is that's with you a half price off any book or scroll.
Oh, that sounds quite useful. I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, is there? Actually, I had another question. That building off to the I think you said it was to the west, the one that's all boarded up. Do you with the cat's eye symbol on it? What is that?
This one here?
I don't remember which one it was when you clicked on it, but yes.
The one with the cat's eye.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that's the cat's eye. Oh, hold on. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. That's the wrong PDF.
That's an awesome name.
Oh yeah, that's the Tiger's Eye. It's ran by Mr. Trench, Vincent Trench. It's a private investigation business.
Oh, okay. That explains the eye and all the.
Trench is quite the character.
Have you like, what do you mean quite the character? Is he helpful? Like, is it?
Oh yeah, no, I've had him. I've hired to hire him for a few things myself, and he always delivers. He's very good at his job. Just it seems. Well, if you meet him, you'll see what I mean.
Okay. Well, I'll certainly look forward to meeting with him. Oh, maybe I don't know. I don't know how I understood it well. I kind of stopped talking there.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. I guess I would leave, and I would, but on the way out, well, I'd thank him for. I'll see what I can do about your situation with. What did he say the guy's name was? The guy up front.
Fala.
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 And I'll see what I can do about her Fala.
All right. And with that is where we will end the session today. So you all finished exploring Trollskull Manor, got an opportunity to explore and meet some of your neighbors and neighborhood. And we will pick up with everybody kind of reconvening in the alleyway at the beginning of next week.